Hi everyone, it's my deepest pleasure to share with you today the energy update for December 2020. It's absolutely amazing. I can't believe it's like a whole year now that I started these energy updates with you on YouTube. I've been doing them all my life with various people, but on the YouTube channel, and this is our 12th one. And every single one we've had outside in Mother Nature, as these communications are coming through from Gaia and the pulse of the world and the collective, it's quite useful to be outside to do them. It's really nippy outside today, and it's only early afternoon, and it's darkened skies. It all has its own beauty. All of it has its own beauty. So happy December, everybody. Oh my gosh, we've just been through a real whopper of a November month. So December feels really different. It feels really, really different. It's got a much sort of freer movement to it. And it's kind of in three parts. So Gaia is saying to me that the first part is about wounds into healing. It's about the wounded into healing. And that goes up to about the 14th. And then around the 14th to the 21st, you've got fruits of your labour. So that's the second one. And the third one is about a very, very special invitation. And that's for the sort of 21st to the 28th of the month. Okay, so I'm actually going to do a full how-to, give you lots of tools and work with this wounds to healing for next week's YouTube. That's coming out around the 11th. So I don't want to spend loads of time here on that, but I just want to actually highlight the fact that Gaia was talking about how every single human has wounds. We all have wounds. And she was giving me an example of when we've actually broken the skin barrier. So we've had a wound and we're bleeding. Now, apart from some rare, genetic disorders and various diseases, we heal. The skin heals. We no longer bleed. Now, sometimes that wound is really deep, so it leaves a scar. And she was just reminding us that, we heal really well. Some are deeper than others, and some are left with scars as a reminder of the story. But if you take that as story A, she said some people, some of the time, are then going back and rehashing the story. And she said, remember, that's now story B. Because when you made story A, you were bleeding. You were in shock. You were in life-saving mode. Got to stop the bleeding to survive. So instinctual. Story B is reflective and remembering the pain and remembering the experience, the story. And she was saying, some of us are in story M, N. Some of us are in story X, Y, Z. But she's just saying to you, can you just think now? Can you be kind to yourself and heal yourself? Soften your view of yourself by remembering that you're not wound A. That's been and gone. It's healed. You're now in a different story because you've got a different perspective with time, with life, with how you've lived, with what other experiences have come along the way. So your story has changed. So she wants you to give yourself a pat on the back to say, this is fantastic. Story A is well gone. What story are you in now? And the big question for this next 2 weeks is, who are you without your wounded self story? This is not about shoving it under a mat or a carpet. This is not about honouring the service that story and that life has brought to us. It's none of that. It's about just realising and taking a good look at yourself and understanding we do all have triggers. Every human has triggers that lands us back into what feels like story A. But it can't be story A, because we're not the people who had the first wound. We're now version XYZ. So our story is going to be and can be and have more perspective, more wisdom, more courage, more warrior, more. All that you can experience. So really, this next few weeks, she says, just be very fluid. It's really, really important to remain very fluid. And just like in the elemental side of things, just go with the flow, really go with the flow. Allow the winds of change to come and embrace you, to comfort you, and to lead you along the way. It's not the time of certainty. It's not the time of absolute knowings. There are so many different timelines opening up now, so many different portals of energy frequencies arriving now, that now is the time to take each moment and each breath as the best you can do and be and need in that moment. It's a real living in the now moment, a real living in the now moment. So she said to ask anything else of you starts to enact the mind into trying to make sense of a time that isn't supposed to be sensible or make sense on any level. So she says the easiest way through the next couple of weeks is to love yourself as much as possible. Find some joy in every day. Really count your blessings big time. And when the old wounds come up, be prepared, the triggers are going to set off. The match will be lit. But you know, although the match is lit, it's up to you whether you blow it out, which you have the breath to do, or whether you put it to the touched paper and let it flame into what the old story commands. Your choice today is whether or not you feed that energy. It's up to us. Now, interestingly, after the 14th, she said we go into another phase, which is the fruits of our labour. And she's like so delighted to bring this news to us. It's like everything that we've laboured for in our life comes to fruition. So for some people, this will be a dynamic change in a relationship with yourself or with life or with a lover or with a family member or with a society or with the earth. All sorts of different things. There's pivotal, massive, huge shifts that are happening from the 14th, and they are to do with, if you can actually adopt the lens of seeing what happens then on the 14th as fruits of your labour. You know, all those things that you've asked for are coming to you. And it might not sort of seem, you might not join the dots. It's okay. It's okay not to join the dots, because remember, we're in a time of great fluidity. We're being asked to stay free. We're being asked to stay available. We're being asked to stay in a place of responding to life in the best possible soft strength that we possibly can. Okay, so number 3 is all to do. It's really, really weird. Okay, now just check in with yourself. Love to hear how you respond to this one, okay? So do put in the comments fields, please, because we'll have some chats about this later. I'm positive we will. But from the 21st, it's the solstice. It's at the time where always, every year, every solstice is a time of power. It's a time where portals open. It's a time which gives humans the option of opening our hearts to a bigger dynamic kind of version of ourselves, if you like. But this one is about stepping into your majesty. It's about stepping into your royalty. It's about stepping into the best you can be. And I had to write this down because Gaia said, right, you guys are going to be invited to a very elite school. So take a note about what your reactions are to the words I'm using here. You're being invited to a very elite school. Yes, it's a school. It's got desks. Your desk with your name on it is saved for you. You're required to wear a uniform. Okay, so, you know, are any of those words triggering you in any way? And she's saying, you know, these triggers for the first 2 weeks, some of those words may well have triggered some things off with you, like self-worth. I mean, what do you think about elitism? You know, what do you think about schools? What do you think about this, that, and the other? So if anything has been triggered in you by those words, those are the things to heal. Those are the wounds that need healing in the first few weeks. Then you get more of your fruits of your labour and you really enjoy this school. Okay, so I had to look up what elite actually means in the dictionary. It says, a select group that is superior in terms of ability or qualities to the rest of society. Okay, so a select group, that's you, me, all of us, in our superiority in terms of ability or qualities. And I found that quite interesting because after my trigger points were set off with those words, Gaia and I had a really good laugh, because what it is this is all about the fifth dimension. This is about the new earth. This is about going from the thorns of the wild rose into the bloom of the rose. And so she was saying, like, it's, you know, this, you booked your place at this elite school eons ago, a very, very long time ago. And in this beautiful, magical, gorgeous, loving, heavenly place, you've got a desk which has got your name on it, and no one else can sit there. And it's totally and utterly up to you and your divine will and your free will to merge together into unity to be able to take your place. It's up to you. Which I think is great. And she was saying, so the uniform is you. It's all of your scars. It's all of your you know, every time you've picked yourself up, brushed yourself off and gone back into life, it's the whole of you and your soul's journey. So your uniform is you, it's your skin, it's your body, it's your emotions, it's all of you to come battered, bruised, scarred, and still here, still breathing, still smiling. That's your uniform. So this uniform is unique to you. No one else fits it, ever. And the more comfortable you become in your uniform, the easier it is to walk through that portal door into the embrace of this elite school. So she was saying the place you've reserved in this magical place is it's like the there's going to be teachers there. You're going to be both student and teacher, because it's definitely for adults. The children know far more about this most of the time than we do anyway. So it's for our remembering. It's a school of remembering who we are. It's a school of reawakening. It's a school where we can actually be comfortable, cared for, looked after. It's surrounded by teachers who have an enormous amount of patience, goodwill, and superb wisdom, and a way of communicating their teachings, because we are now ready to learn. We are now ready to pick up this mantle of life, which goes from survival to thriving. So this school is about thriving, about living a life that you feel you're thriving in, rather than scraping by or just surviving. So it feels full of camaraderie. You're going to meet loads of different people there, and it's every single language and nationality, because it's a place of no borders. It's a place of no judgment. It's a place of no war. It's a place of full acceptance of differences to the point where we are celebrated for who we are. Our uniform is seen with love and understanding and compassion and knowing. And our friends there just get, we've all travelled this. We've all got our own stories. But it's very, very important to understand from the 28th of December onwards, it's our time to write a new one. So it's quite good over the next few weeks if you can write down who are you without your story that you've worn or earned up to now. That story that you might be fed up with now and you might want to get rid of. Who are you without it? If you can start to actually witness your own truth and write down who you are without that story, and maybe start to inquire within, inside of your heart. Take some courage and go to the wisdom and adult part of your heart with a bit of fun from the child and a lot of courage, and start to actually write down the story that you're ready for. Because believe me, by the end of this month, all of the doors to this school are open for every single one of us. And it's up to us, it's our date with our destiny that defines when we choose to change our story enough to uplift our expectations of ourselves, to walk through that gateway, portal, doorway into the school of the elite. In this case, the elite means love, the most loving place, caring place, kind, knowledgeable, full of wisdom, deep and utter honourable friendships, lots of fun, laughter, all the good stuff. A place where we are healed, not healing, but healed. So yeah, very different month. So wounds to healing, and I'm going to really take that topic in its entirety for the 11th and really go into some detail and some tools that you may use that might be helpful. And then moving into the fruits of your labour, start to notice those as they come up. And then this invitation to the elite school of life and love. Okay, my loves. Really look forward to conversations on this one. It's huge, it's big, it's dynamic, it's very diverse. As are you. My love to you. Bye for now.